for New England. Out of the shotgun, Ryan gets hit. Ball is...
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in. For anyone watching the video on demand, the archive, let me just make this very clear quickly. Today I'm live streaming O'Reilly Factor full show. It'll have the Donald Trump interview, and immediately after that, at the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have regular Tucker Carlson Tonight, and that's about all you need to know. Thanks for watching.
Toss to White. He's in. Patriots win the Super Bowl. Brady has his 5th. What a comeback.
I love it. We just wanted to relive that whole thing all over again for the Patriots fans, and I'm sorry to the Falcons fans. President Trump praised the Patriots quarterback Tom Brady as Brady and the team arrived back home at Gillette Stadium, where they brought that sucker home. As Tom Brady said, they're there on the bus, greeted by adoring hometown fans. The Patriots comeback last night from a 25-point deficit was a game for the ages. Tom Brady started the season with a 4-game suspension, now a distant memory without a doubt. The greatest quarterback ever to play the game, I said, period. Here, fresh from the Super Bowl, as he always is. He's only missed one when we were in Iowa last year, which was hard for him, is my great friend, Bill Hemmer.
How are you?
Hi, Bill.
What are you doing up tonight?
It's good. What are you doing up tonight?
Well,
I saw you at 6 o'clock.
I just flew in from Houston. Martha, here's what I want to tell you. I feel bad for Atlanta, too. As you just said, I mean, at halftime, their fans were celebrating. They thought they had this thing in the bag. But the reason why I've been to a dozen Super Bowls is because I think it's the single greatest event America does every year. At least to kick off, everybody in that stadium is happy, and you just never know, Martha, what's going to happen. And last night was just, it was absurd how that game ended up. I mean, no one could think that.
Bill knows that my son and I, we have a divided family, but my son and I are very big Pats fans. So we were he left to play ping pong for about 5 minutes because he was so upset. But, you know, what about the Roger Goodell moment? That was a little uncomfortable up there on that trophy stand, and I saw Goodell sort of like, you know, skip down the back stairs and say, like, I'm getting out of here.
I think what you may not have been able to hear on TV were the amount of boo birds that were out for him. Did you? I mean, Boston does not like him. But Goodell was asked about it before the Super Bowl. What happens if you have to hand the trophy to Tom Brady? And he took it in stride. He said, no problem. There was a handshake there. Jim Gray witnessed that. I thought it went pretty well. You know the amazing thing, Martha? You think about this. You're down, what, 28-12? I brought my niece. She's a school teacher in Houston, Texas. We started making our way for the exit around 8 minutes 30 seconds left. And we couldn't get out the door because something kept changing over and over. But here's what I want you to think about. In the final 8 minutes of regulation, every break possible that New England could get, they got, including the coin toss going into overtime. And that is... you can't draw that stuff up.
Well, here's why. Wow. Let me show you why. Because I do a quote of the night every night. I don't know if you watch the show, but I do a quote of the night every night. And here it is. Tom Brady says, you want to know which ring is my favorite? The next one, Bill. Yeah. The next one is always his favorite.
That's why he's a winner. You know, I just say one more thing. The Falcons really were impressive in person. I think they got worn down perhaps by the game or the moment, but they've got a real good chance of getting back there next year.
Great catch by Julian Edelman and Chris Hogan, my hometown hero from my high school. Great game. Bill, great to see you. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon, my friend.
You got it.
Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Martha McCallum. We will see you back here at 7 p.m. tomorrow night, where we will have big news from the West Coast on the travel ban decision for the Trump administration. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, everybody. Bill O'Reilly coming up with the Trump interview right after this.
The O'Reilly Factor's on tonight. You know, it was fascinating to watch you at the inauguration with Barack Obama. You guys seem to get along.
We get along. I don't know if he'll admit this, but he likes me.
My interview with Donald Trump making headlines all over the world.
Tonight we'll play you the portion you did not see in the Super Bowl pregame program. Why do the Democrats oppose protecting Americans from violent foreign criminals?
Because they think that's their voter.
That question around the sanctuary city case law controversy, the president vowing to crack down hard on areas that do not obey federal law.
Have you done drugs? I've done more drugs than I have fingers.
Also tonight, can you believe it? Water's World has done 300 episodes. Why is this allowed?
Do you want to do the thing?
This is what you get paid to do.
Caution, you are about to enter the no spin zone. Factor begins right now. Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. As you may know, my interview with President Trump making headlines all over the world. And tonight we will show you what you did not see in the Super Bowl pregame show. So here's what happened. We interviewed the president on Friday afternoon at the White House. The interview ran about 40 minutes, 10 of which were used by Fox Sports. So that leaves us with half an hour to show you tonight and tomorrow. Big headlines out of the Super Bowl interview were Mr. Trump's comments on the Russian tyrant Putin and the Obamacare rollout. It's interesting to watch our two competing cable news stations, which hate Mr. Trump to an unhealthy degree, try to analyze what the president told me. I thought Donald Trump was straightforward and honest in that interview, whether you liked his answers or not. But the Trump haters were trying desperately to find something with which to hammer the president. Also, apparently, the Putin administration in Moscow demanding that I, your humble correspondent, apologize for saying old Vlad is a killer. So I'm working on that apology, but it may take a little time. Might want to check in with me around 2023. In a conference call with reporters, Putin's press guy said this.
We think that words like that coming from the Fox correspondent are unacceptable, offensive, and to be honest, we would prefer to get an apology to the president coming from such a respected company.
One footnote, if you'd like to know more about the violent history of Vladimir Putin, you might check out the book I War by Bill Gertz, a Washington Times reporter. Anyway, tonight we have a number of subjects that we presented to President Trump. Here they are. Let's talk about Iran. Your assessment, do you think we're on a collision course, we being the United States, with that country?
I think it was the worst deal I've ever seen negotiated. I think it was a deal that should have never been negotiated. Absolutely, the deal that was made by the Obama administration. I think it's a shame that we've had a deal like that and that we had to sign a deal like that, and there was no reason to do it. And if you're going to do it, have a good deal. Secretary Kerry, who was negotiating it, never once left the table. We have the worst of everything. We've already given them billions and billions, probably $150 billion. We gave them $1.7 billion in cash, which is unheard of. And we put the money up, and we have really nothing to show for it.
Possible you tear it up?
We'll see what happens. I mean, we're going to see what happens. I can say this. They have total disregard for our country. They are the #1 terrorist state. They're sending money all over the place and weapons, and can't do that.
Sanctions, that's how you're going to start with them.
Just started.
But you're moving a carrier, right?
Well, we just started with sanctions. I never talk about military moves. I always criticize President Obama when they'd have an announcement that they're going into Mosul or they're going to some place and they give the name, the date, the time. I don't believe in that. Let's see what happens, but I don't like to talk about what we do militarily.
So you're not real bullish on Iran at this point?
No, I'm not bullish. It's like they're emboldened. Where they follow our planes, they circle our ships with their little boats, and they scream things at us. What's happened is not good. You would have thought that with the deal they made, which was a great deal for them and a horrible deal for us, they would have had a warmth toward our country, and it's exactly the opposite. They lost respect because they can't believe anybody could be so stupid as to make a deal like that.
Let's talk about Mexico. there was a report, you talked to President Nieto, and you told him, this was the report, I want to know if this is true or not, that if his army couldn't handle the drug cartels, that U.S. Army soldiers would. Did you say that? We have to do something about the cartels. I did talk to him about it. I want to help him with it. I think he's a very good man. We have a very good relationship, as you probably know. We're going to have a wall. We're going to have a border. We've got to stop drugs from coming into our country. And if he can't handle it, and maybe they can and maybe they can't, or maybe he needs help, he seemed very willing to get help from us because he has got a problem. Got a problem.
And it's a real problem for us.
So President Nieto of Mexico was open to the possibility of U.S. forces, all right, helping him combat the drug cartels.
I would rather, as a very nice man that he is and somebody I respect, I'd rather have him respond to that. But I will tell you, I certainly offered him help on knocking out the drug cartels because we have got a problem. Don't forget, those cartels are operating in our country, and they're poisoning the youth of our country. And by the way, countries all over the world, just so you understand. This is a cartel all over the world, the cartels. But I certainly would help him if he needed the help.
At this point, do you consider Mexico a corrupt country? Because this stuff has been going on for decades. Is Mexico corrupt?
Well, it's a country that's got difficulty. It certainly has done well with us. We have a trade deficit with Mexico of $60 billion a year. That doesn't include drugs, and it doesn't include the border and all of the things that are happening on the border. But it's a country that I have great respect for the people. I love the people. I really like this administration. I think he's a good man. We get along very well. But they have problems controlling aspects of their country. There's no question about it. And I would say the drugs and the drug cartels, number one.
Have you figured out what kind of a tariff you're going to levy on Mexico to pay for the wall?
Well, we might not have to do that. They want to negotiate a deal. I want to negotiate a deal. We'll see what happens. But we can always do a tariff or a tax if necessary, and we'll do that if necessary. But if we can make a deal, a reassignment of NAFTA, but I'm going to put another F in the name NAFTA, because right now it's free trade, and I'm going to have it fair trade also, because it's not fair.
All right, so
we're losing, Bill, we're losing $60 billion a year in trade deficits with Mexico. Can't do that.
You talked to Putin last week. You had a busy week last week.
I'm pretty busy. Busy week and a half.
But within 24 hours of you on the phone with the Russian leader, the pro-Russian forces step up the violence in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Did you take that as an insult?
No, I didn't, because we don't really know exactly what that is. They're pro-forces. We don't know, are they uncontrollable? Are they uncontrolled? That happens also. We're going to find out. I would be surprised, but we'll see. Now,
do you respect Putin?
I do respect him.
Do you? Why?
Well, I respect a lot of people, but that doesn't mean I'm going to get along with him. He's a leader of his country. I say it's better to get along with Russia than not. Will I get along with him? I have no idea. It's very
He's a
possible
killer,
I
though.
won't.
Putin's a killer.
A lot of killers. You got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? Do you think our country's so innocent?
I don't know of any government leaders that are killers anymore.
Well, take a look at what we've done, too. We've made a lot of mistakes. I've been against the war in Iraq from the beginning.
Yeah, mistakes are different than...
A lot of mistakes, okay, but a lot of people were killed. So a lot of killers around, believe me.
You mentioned ISIS. Can we expect, we the American people, more U.S. military action against ISIS?
You know, I hate to be evasive, but
you don't have to tell me specifically, just in general. I don't like
talking about it. I can say this. ISIS is bad. They're evil. They cut off heads of Christians and Muslims and anybody else that gets in their way. They drown people in steel cages. This is like not since the medieval times has anything happened like this. And the previous administration allowed it to happen because we shouldn't have been in Iraq, but we shouldn't have gotten out the way we got out. It created a vacuum. ISIS was formed. I always said take the oil. If you would have taken the oil, there would be no ISIS because they use that to fuel their growth.
But if you took the oil, the Iraqi oil, you would have to put in U.S. troops to do that, and then that would have started another round.
And you would have made a lot of money with the oil, and you would have had assets, and to the victor belong the spoils, and all of that. But forget that.
Okay, let's turn to domestic policy. When can Americans expect tax cuts? This year?
Yeah, we're working very much right now on the health care package, which I think will be, it's moving along very well. We're trying to get our person, Dr. Tom Price, approved. As you know, the Democrats are being, for purely political reasons, it's terrible.
But let me get you on the record here. 2017, can Americans expect a tax cut?
I think so, yes, and I think before the end of the year, I would like to say yes.
Okay. Can Americans in 2017 expect a new health care plan rolled out by the Trump administration this year?
Yeah, in the process, and maybe it'll take till sometime into next year, but we are certainly going to be in the process. Very complicated. Obamacare is a disaster. You have to remember, Obamacare doesn't work. You look at Arizona, 116% increase. You look at Minnesota, all of these places, it's going through the roof.
It's done.
It doesn't work.
Right.
Wait.
But when are you going to have something ready?
And we're going to be putting it in fairly soon. I think that, yes, I would like to say by the end of the year, at least the rudiments, but we should have something within the year and the following year.
Now, this is
and by the way, we will have something that's good, less expensive, and really great health care.
Next on the rundown, part 2 of the Trump interview, we focus on immigration, Kate's Law, and Mr. Trump's relationship with President Obama. Coming right back. Continuing now with our lead story, an interview with President Trump at the White House last Friday stated the talk is making headlines all over the world. Here's part 2. Now, this is a fascinating story. I just spent the week in California. As you know, they are now voting on whether they should become a sanctuary state. So the state of California, led by Governor Jerry Brown, is defying you, is absolutely defying the President of the United States. So California and the USA are on a collision course. How do you see it?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. Sanctuary cities, as you know, I'm very much opposed to sanctuary cities. They breed crime. There's a lot of problems. Right. You do it very well with Kate and all of the other people you talk about on the show that I watch. I will tell you that sanctuary cities they got a lot of problems, and there's tremendous crime. A lot of people agree with me. This was a campaign issue. This isn't just brought up now. California, in many ways, is out of control, as you know. And from a economic standpoint, people are leaving California, going to Texas and other places that run in a different manner. But we'll see what happens. We will certainly not stand for sanctuary, even cities, let alone states.
You mentioned Kate's Law. Why do you think the Democratic Party opposes Kate's Law? It seems so logical.
Yeah, it's so logical. There are many things that are very logical. Tax cuts are logical, but the Democrats want to raise taxes instead of lowering taxes.
But you didn't answer my question. Why do the Democrats oppose protecting Americans from violent foreign criminals?
Because they think that's their voter.
You know, it was fascinating to watch you at the inauguration with Barack Obama. You guys seem to get along, all right? Would that be accurate?
It's a very strange phenomenon. We get along. I don't know if he'll admit this, but he likes me.
How do you know he likes you?
I like him because I can feel it. You know, that's what I do in life. It's called, like, I understand. Now, we had a rough campaign. He was fighting better for Hillary than she did. He was vicious during the campaign toward me, and I was vicious toward him. We said horrible things about each other. And then we hop into the car, and we drive down Pennsylvania Avenue together. We don't even talk about it. Politics is amazing.
What'd you talk about?
We talked about the country. We talked about the future of the country. I asked him about what do you think our biggest problem is, and he told me, I can't tell you, but it's a problem. It's a military problem with a certain place. No, it's not China, actually. No, it's not. But it is, he did mention, because I did ask him, I said, what would you say the number 1, 2, and 3 problems are? And the number 1 problem that he felt, I was a little bit surprised, but I fully understand.
But you can't tell us?
I can't do that. I can't do that. Not for any other reason other than I don't think he'd mind if I said it. I don't want to let that particular place know that that's the way he or I feel. But we had a great, it was a great inauguration. Loved every minute of it, and I got along with him. In fact, people were sort of surprised. I finished, I turned around, he was smiling, I was smiling, fascinating. He was saying hello.
But here's what was more fascinating. Right after you guys embraced, shook hands, all of that, you gave a speech. But your speech excoriated him. You basically took his administration apart, and he's sitting 5 feet away from you. In your mind, did you say, how is he reacting to this speech?
See, I'm an honest person. The country has very, very deep-seated problems. We have to do something about it. And if you noticed, when I finished my speech, I turned around, shook his hand.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And he was very gracious and smiling.
I don't know if he was happy with that speech.
I don't know, but he seemed to be. But this isn't just a knock on him. We've been going down the wrong path for many years beyond him.
Now, tomorrow I asked the president some personal questions about his White House experience so far. I think you'll find it interesting. Directly ahead, Charles Krauthammer will react to that interview. Then later, the Factor has been looking into the judge that blocked Mr. Trump's refugee order. Those reports after these messages. Next segment tonight, reaction to my interview with the president. Joining us from Washington, Charles Krauthammer. So what caught your eye tonight, Charles?
Well, the best news was the news out of Moscow, that you are now on their hit list, and they demand an apology that I understand. You're working on in Russian, that's what I've been told. Look, the obvious headline is the one that everybody caught, which was his reaction to your saying that Putin is a killer. And I want to ask you, how did you feel when he gave that answer?
Okay,
I mean,
number one,
reaction.
I'm a little nervous here. I'm on the hit list. Did you get confirmation that an assassin will be following me home tonight? You know, I just want to be prepared.
But as you know, the man is a killer, and there's a guy right now who is a campaigner for free elections in Russia who is in a coma, organ failure, reportedly, I think this is sort of understood to be true, poisoned by the KGB. And they killed this guy called Nemtsov, leader of the opposition, in the shadow of the Kremlin 2 years ago.
So you agree with me?
He not only is a killer,
yeah,
he's a
shameless
killer.
And don't say things like that off. You know, I know the research. We've researched it. And even if you want to take it further, the Malaysian jetliner shot out of the sky by pro-Russian thugs, the Ukraine atrocities, it goes on and on. But I'm glad you agree with me on that. However, you asked me a question. Here's how I processed the president's answer. Not that it was a moral equivalency between the United States and Russia about actions, but that we don't have a right to form a judgment. And it's the same philosophy that Franklin Roosevelt used when he dealt with Stalin, is that what Trump wants to do is enlist Putin's help to defeat ISIS and to get away from Iran, to weaken Iran. So he says we don't have a right to make these personal judgments that you and I just made about Putin, which are accurate, okay? Because in the past, the United States has done bad things too. That's how I processed it.
But you just gave me two different answers. One was a moral answer. We don't have the right, presumably because of our own sins, to criticize him.
No, not
the
to
other
form
answer
judgments.
Was a pragmatic one. A pragmatic one was FDR. I need Stalin.
Yeah, but that's his motivation. That's why he doesn't say what you and I just said, that Putin's a killer, because he wants Putin's help to beat ISIS and Iran.
So when he reacts by saying that we are killers too, that doesn't strike you as moral equivalence, or and as
I'm not going to say it didn't. My job was to elicit answers from him, not debate him in that. It was a hard news interview, and perhaps he did make that equivalency. I took it the other way. It was a matter of he doesn't want personal judgments. But I'll tell you what the other headline was.
You thought the other networks were distorting him by saying it was a moral
I didn't say
equivalence?
they were distorting it. I'm saying they were looking for a hammer to use on his head. I didn't say they distorted it.
But, I mean, that's a hammer that any sentient being would seize immediately when you say that this guy is a killer.
But they weren't looking at the interview for information. They were looking for something to get him with. And that's a fact.
How do you...
That's a
fact. But look,
fact.
I wasn't looking for something to get him with.
Well, I'm not saying you. I said the other hate Trump networks.
The point is that Mitch McConnell, a lot of other people who are not looking to get the president, reacted in the same way. It was a universal reaction.
Be that as it may, you can react any way you want. It's my job to get him on the record, and I did. The bigger story, and I'm going to hold Charles over for another minute. I need 90 seconds here. The bigger story, in my opinion, is the coming showdown between California and the federal government. There's no question in my mind that California is going to lose billions, with a B, of dollars if it continues on the sanctuary city path. And he said it very clearly, and I don't think he's backing away. That's an enormous story for the biggest state in the union, is it not?
It's a big story, but it's been triggered by the governor. Look, the president has made it very clear from the campaign on that if you're a sanctuary anything, we're going to cut you off. There's a lot of support in the country because this is the language of states' rights. This is the language that we heard in segregation is South, the language, it was called interposition and nullification, which was essentially a repudiation of the federal authority. And I think this is something that he has great support for. If the governor of that state wants to expand the jurisdiction and have the fight, that's the story. They want to risk it.
That's
but I don't understand what the clash means. Do you expect there's going to be an armed clash? We're going to send drones?
What, to California? We're just going to cut their money off, and they need it, desperately need it. It's an entitlement state.
Right.
The state is an entitlement state. That federal money drives up, whoa, you're going to see, you think you got riots in Oakland now? Where do you see what happens? Charles Krauthammer, everybody. Plenty more ahead as a factor moves along this evening. The controversy over blocking President Trump's refugee order. We'll tell you all about the judge who did that. And later, Water's World, episode 300.
Are you a Water's World fan by any chance?
No, I don't like Water's World. I never liked it. All of America rejects Water's World. Bill O'Reilly doesn't like Water's World.
We hope you stay tuned for those reports. Personal Story segment tonight's never easy interviewing a president. I've done it 9 times, from Gerald Ford to Jimmy Carter to Bush the Younger to Barack Obama, now Donald Trump. The only problem is you can take your questioning just so far. out of respect for the office of the presidency. It's a bit complicated, but let me give you an example. When Donald Trump was a candidate, I could poke him, push him, openly show skepticism about what he said. In fact, I can do that with any politician except the president. I can disagree, I can challenge, but I cannot demean the office in any way. Joins now from Nashville, Tennessee, John Meacham, presidential historian, author of the book Destiny and Power, the American Odyssey of George Herbert Walker Bush. And we're going to talk about Bush the Elder's appearance at the Super Bowl at the end of the interview. But first, the interview I did with Donald Trump. What jumped out at you?
Well, I was struck by the Putin news, obviously. It struck me, and I'd love to hear your reaction in that moment, that for a man who is a nationalist economically, who believes so strongly in American greatness to the point where that was his entire raison d'etre for the campaign, he has this strange blind spot to some extent with Putin, where he allows Russia, a historic enemy, to wander off out of his sights, what is otherwise a pretty consistent Trumpian.
But it's almost like the two
focus.
Previous presidents. Bush the younger, all right, wanted to thought he was a good guy, Putin, as you remember. Barack Obama thought he was a good guy, and we'll have a little latitude after the election. Trump, as I said to Charles Krauthammer, wants Putin's cooperation to defeat ISIS and to lessen the tensions with Iran. But be that as it may, I mean, my take was that he's going to go and try to make a détente with Russia and overlook Putin being Putin, which is a killer. I mean, I don't think there's anybody who knows history that knows it isn't true.
So do you think this? Sorry, do you think this is Nixon and Kissinger? Do you think this
I think it's a bit that way, that you have to dine with the devil sometimes to, get what you need. What else jumped at the interview?
I was struck by, and I think this is a headline for tonight, that President Obama shared a private concern with him that President Trump did not enunciate or explain.
You know what I think it is? What it is? What country it is?
I have a guess, but what's yours?
No, you make your guess first.
North Korea.
Good guess. I think it's Pakistan.
Yeah.
Pakistan is a country that's bordering on being out of control, has the nukes, has relationships with ISIS and the Taliban now. And that's what I thought it was. But both Meacham and I are speculating. Yeah.
Fox News Channel on Sirius XM. Your favorite shows on Channel 114. Plus every story, every 15 minutes. Fox News headlines 24/7. Channel 115. The O'Reilly Factor. The #1 cable news show for 16 years and counting.
Thanks for staying with us. And Bill O'Reilly in the Factor follow-up segment tonight. As you may know, a federal judge in Washington State, James Robart, has blocked President Trump's executive order temporarily stopping some refugees and immigrants from coming to the USA. Judge Robart is a Republican, nominated by Bush the Younger 2003 and confirmed in 2004 unanimously. Judge Robart has made some controversial statements in the past and does some work with refugees. Joining us now from Seattle, John McKay, who served as U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Washington State for 6 years. So you know Judge Robart very well. Tell me about him.
I do. He's a highly regarded United States District Judge here in Seattle, conservative in the way he looks at the law, very, very thorough, very soft-spoken. You know, he wears a bow tie, but a lot of us who know him know he's just as comfortable out in some waders fishing for salmon. He's a
regular
very
guy
highly regarded, Bill.
with a conservative philosophy, but it's widely believed his order is going to be overturned, because the president does have the law on his side with national security, and that's the way it's going to be appealed by the Justice Department. Do you believe that?
Well, you know, I don't think it's entirely clear. Judge Robart's order doesn't list the legal basis for his decision, only that the state of Washington and the state of Minnesota are going to, in his judgment, prevail on the merits. So that will be, you're right about that, that will be a question for the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and maybe ultimately the United States Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean, the consensus is that the president will be able to lock down those 7 countries and Syria for national security reasons, but that, again, is speculation. Now, in the past, Judge Robart has worked with refugees from Southeast Asia, I understand. Do you know anything about that?
Well, you know, before Judge Robart went on the bench, now I think more than 10 years ago, he was well known here in Seattle for, as a private lawyer, representing people who couldn't afford a lawyer, pro bono work for low-income people. I'm not familiar with his work with refugees, but he's very well known for the fact that he would volunteer his time while working for corporate clients like Nordstrom and timber companies. He represented low-income people, and
he was very generous
I
with
presume
that,
among them would have been immigrants.
As part of those pro bono was immigrants from Southeast Asia. Also, he was involved with the Seattle Police Department in charges of brutality against minorities, and he evoked Black Lives Matter, which raised a lot of eyebrows because that's a radical left group. So some people are very suspicious. He did raise
people's eyebrows. There's no doubt about that. But he also said at that you know, immediately following that comment that the lives of police officers matter very much as well. So he's seen as a straight up, straight shooter, conservative, but courageous judge here.
All right. Well, Counselor, we appreciate your point of view. Thank you very much. And again, we're watching and tracking all of this legal business, but we do expect the president to prevail on this issue. What is World on Deck? Edition number 300. Can you believe this tomfoolery has been allowed to go on so long? What is next? Back in the book segment tonight, Waters World, edition number 300. So here's what happened. About 6 years ago, I decided that we had to get Waters out of the building. Had to. At that point, he was a producer for The Factor, a flamboyant presence, to be sure. So I said to myself, why waste Waters here? Why not inflict him upon the entire country? The rest is history. Here's Waters World in all its glory.
Who bombed us in Pearl Harbor?
Was it China?
China?
I don't know.
Close.
Korea, right? No, I don't think Korea.
Not Korea.
No. Russia? No.
Not Russia.
Wow.
Is Bill O'Reilly fair and balanced?
Listen, I'm going to stay out of a fight with Bill. For once in my life, I'm not going to take the bait and get in a fight with Bill. I wish him nothing but the best.
Okay. Is Obama doing a good job?
Yes, he is. He's the President of the United States.
Thank you.
Not Obama. He's the President of the United States.
Thank you.
What are you looking at?
Have you done drugs?
I've done more drugs than I have fingers.
Can I stick my finger through your ear hole? Do you want to do the thing?
This is what you get paid to do.
You'll actually see like sounds potentially, like.
Can you hear smells?
I'm freaking out, man.
The term terrorist could be associated to anyone who is causing terror. So you interviewing me, and I could say you're a terrorist.
Do you want to waterboard me? Michelle Obama says she doesn't want young people on Facebook. Do you agree with that?
Depending on the age. Like, I don't think 12-year-olds should be on Facebook.
Are you worried about them? Why?
Because they put that they're 18 and they're 13. I'm like, whoa, she said 18.
Have you ever been in trouble for doing that?
They tried.
Who's they?
Well, the detective.
What were you doing instead of voting?
Being with my girl.
What'd you do with your girl?
Went and had some lunch. I had a chicken sandwich. She had the same thing.
What happened after lunch?
Nothing.
No kiss. You need to wax your eyebrows.
Could you do that for me in the parking lot?
This is a little awkward.
Do you know what the internet is?
I'm not stupid.
Well.
Do you have a cup on?
No.
Oh, you don't need one? Stay down. Attaboy. Yeah!
You look like you're having a blast out here.
What about right now?
Probably not.
What was that? What the hell was that?
Oh, very distracting playing with you.
It's a bit nipply out. I mean nippy out.
Can I stick my fingers in there?
Absolutely, man.
Thank you very much.
I want to touch it.
Can I put my fist through your beard?
Absolutely.
Did that hurt?
No.
I'm going to show you how to use the force.
Yeah.
Can I touch your sword?
Go right ahead.
Do you trust me?
No.
How long have you been around here?
I've been living here 45 years. I live at the edge of the wilderness, and I have declared it a nature spirit party zone. We all have so many dragonflies, hummingbirds, falcons, the condors.
What the is happening right now?
Congresswoman? Hi, Jesse Waters with Fox News.
Do you know who I am?
Now, you said that Fox News chokes us and lies to us.
Are you going to say to Fox News, when they try and choke us, lie on us, we're going to turn the television off on you?
Who's us and what are the lies?
Tell me the truth.
Congresswoman, you said that Fox News lies. Could you name a lie?
What is she doing? I never know what she's doing.
I know you're a woman of your word, and I'm asking you if you're going to be honoring your commitment.
Well, I didn't make any commitment to him. We were having a social conversation. In fact, it was at the White House. It's the first time I ever saw him, because I never see him on TV. But they... This is open-ended. One of these days, maybe I will.
You doubt my word?
You don't know Waters World?
Again, please?
I'm Waters, and this is my world right here.
Okay.
Mr. Vice President, Bill O'Reilly has a question. He wants to know when you're coming on the Factor.
All right, tell him when he wants me. I'll try to come.
Are you sure?
I think he's ridiculous. I don't enjoy his show.
But you think Bill is ridiculous?
Yes.
You think Bill is ridiculous.
I think, why are you wearing a pink shirt?
Trying to fit in here. It's flesh colored.
I don't like to get naked in front of another man, you know?
You wear your helmet, right?
Why you wear a helmet on a Harley?
Well, I can think of a few reasons.
God in heaven!
How you guys doing?
The management doesn't want you on the property. I like your suit better.
Thank you very much. How come we were denied credentials?
I am not going to talk to you.
You're a feminist. You're not afraid of Fox, are you?
I'm not afraid of anybody, but I don't have to talk to anyone I don't want to.
All right, because I'm on your side.
I'm sure you are, Jesse.
Denied. Governor of a state,
News
President
Live.
of the United States, you know.
What's up, man? How you doing?
You want to say something?
Fox News Live.
Why don't you talk with us?
I got places to go.
I know, but why would you interrupt someone's interview with that opinion? Why don't you just talk to us? We'll give you a fair shake.
I don't think we're the same species.
I concur.
Is he vicious? No, he's perfectly harmless.
So what's your name?
Ocean.
I'm Waters. You know who I am? I'm Waters.
No.
Are you a Waters World fan by any chance?
No, I don't like Waters World. All of America rejects Waters World. Bill O'Reilly doesn't like Waters World.
Did you guys ever watch Bill O'Reilly on Fox News Channel?
I love it. I love it. I love watching Bill O'Reilly.
You do?
I do.
Do you get dressed up when you watch the factory?
Maybe a little lipstick.
We're not alone.
Somehow, some way, Waters has become a big star. We don't know exactly where he is right now, but he's doing something. And he'll be here on Thursday to tell us about it. One more note, the guy who puts together all the Waters World editions with the clips is producer Rob Monaco, definitely a creative genius. In fact, the tip of the day, I have some thoughts on the Super Bowl. The tip, moments away.